before I start, I would like to ask you about several simple questions. Who has arrived to Lviv from another city from Ukraine? Wow, a lot. Who have arrived to Lviv from another country?
Don't do that shit.
Several of them. Okay. Okay. I would like to say you some words that show you that Lviv is an amazing city and it's great to visit it, and I think you will have one more day to go around and see some places. Okay, as Mark mentioned, my talk not about religion, about programming languages in general, and we'll think about its comparison to religion or to instruments. While I'm preparing to this talk, I was rethinking my experience of software development and make some conclusion about our behavior, possible bias, and possible pitfalls that may face it on our way. So I think it will be helpful for you to know about this question and to remember about them. Yes, as all of us, we are part of IT industry that has significant experience of increasing its magnitude, its capacity about 6 order magnitude. It's about 1 million times. Yes, so IT industry starts from mainframe and come to laptops and smartphones very quickly in a short period of time. This leads for us a lot of opportunity, a lot of things we're able to do that not be possible several years ago, several decades ago. Also, number of programming languages and different kind of instruments are huge and keeping increasing a lot. It's also open to us a lot of possibilities. It's an amazing area where we're all working. But all of these are not free. Yes, and many of us may notice and face this problem that in nowadays exist a lot of sources of information, and we may lose them. We should choose some short fields to be familiar with, because another way to be expert in some fields. Also, as we all humans, we have our mental pitfalls and we have our gaps. And if we not take proper attention to them, they may misleading us. And let's think from simple question about the programming in general. Is it this activity leading by single person, by some enthusiast, or leading by community? What do you think? Who think it's for enthusiastic person? Okay, maybe this is enthusiastic person. Who think this is driven by community? Yeah? Okay, suddenly, good. I think it's, I hear the variant where the answer was the both variant, yes, and we know a lot of enthusiastic people that provide and open some new ideas, yeah, create some new direction in our industry. This is great, but all these directions should be supported by the community and good solution provided by the community. Also, we know about GitHub, and now anyone can imagine their work without it, yes, and about 20 years ago, it's no GitHub, all working alone, and it was not so good and not so interesting. First pitfall, first mental bias that we have, described by Dunning-Kruger effect. Who know about it? Read? I think it's a lot of more. I think you know about stuff, Socrates' words that I knew nothing. This effect describes this situation. When on the beginning we have a feeling that we have a lot of experience in some technologies, but only for the beginning phase. When we pass in some time, when we become more familiar with technology, we open for ourselves that we're not so good, not so experienced person, and we may fail a lot of time. And this vice versa question, because when we working a lot, adapting the new technology, and we should trust ourselves and knew that we may solve the problem in different ways. But for the beginning, one more time, be careful. Programming in general may be combined or divided for 3 different fields and study on them separately. So this is the common theory that works well for different programming languages. Programming languages for them all. So each programming language provides for you a separate set of tools, and we'll face it with this later. Yes, and also it's domain of use. So very important, be aware about domain and know which process we describe. We're working with different domains, and that's very interesting because we're working on the combination of several fields. Yeah, no one uses programming for programming itself. We use for solving some real problems in real life, and it may be healthcare, maybe gaming, maybe some financial solution, maybe a government solution, a lot of stuff, different stuff. So let's begin from the common theory that we all be aware about, and tomorrow we will have more explanation of these fields. It's about algorithms and data structure. You will understand why it's so important. And I think all of these parts are also important, and for each of them we need to have our separate speech, talk, or separate conference. About computer architecture engineering, I think all of you are aware about how hardware works and what Turing machine mean, how it's work. Yes? About concurrency, who familiar with this terminology? What is this work? How is this working? What it contains and which gaps does this have, or which pitfalls we may face it when you work on this concurrently. Also, computer security. This is another field that misleading a lot. We all knew about it, but who can name it me as the expert of these fields? Really experts. Due to other situation in Ukraine and other countries, we have a lot of information leaking, breaking system, and all this stuff. It says to us that we all missing these parts too. Also, software development methodological use it a lot, and as developers that work combined in group, we should aware about them, how they work, how they should use, and it's also depends on our process. Okay, about programming languages. Yes, this was a common series. Now we come to attributes of each programming language, how to generalize them, and how to describe them. I will try to use approach from philosophy part, from philosophy point of view. So I try to open for you the main idea of each language, for what they was created and how we will use them, because in nowadays many of languages cover a wide range of problem solving, and it's hard to choose the proper language. Also around the program language, we may notice arising some communities. These communities driving this language, these communities improve this language and helps newcomers to be familiar with it. A lot of languages provide to exist with a standard library, and these solutions helps another one to adopt solution, to create new solution, and to combine existing solution. And also each programming language efficient to some kind of task. And when you try to pick up some technology, some programming language, it's hard to choose. So you face it with problem how to choose programming language properly. And many times, I faced it with the situation, and the answer was I just pick in the language that I already used, already know, and without entire explanation why so. I will show you why it's not working good in many cases. For solving this problem, we may use some resources like rating systems. Exist a lot different rating systems. I will mention just a couple of them, like TOB index that calculate count of search results from different search engines and provide you combined analytics for a huge number of languages, about 248 languages, and provides the percentage of information about each language. So they base it on the information in the internet about this language. IEE Spectrum is another one rating system that collect all information of existing and well-known other rating system and provide information about 50 languages. But this report generated by people and use manually approach. Redmond index based on the GitHub and Stack Overflow sources, and they just aggregate the information about different languages to provide you some activities that may show you some information. But again, this is just the numbers, and it is hard to rely on them and get the best solution for you. I think a couple of years ago, you may notice such diagrams that helps to identify which language works for you, especially when you pick up in some first languages. It relies on your interest and many other approaches. And for me, it's like a joke, but someone may take this seriously and pick a language based on these guidelines. But I highly recommend this resource because they provide not only this diagram and breadth analysis of languages, it provides a bunch of resources that will help you start it with any languages or transfer to another languages. Oh, little spoiler. Yes, and now I want to switch to analyzing the philosophy of each language, relying on its history and the reason why this language exists and was created. So we start, of course, with C languages, and also we will use sources from Toggle and Marat Virkus. They describe two situations, two tasks of rescuing princess and killing the dragon, and describe different languages and its disadvantages, maybe advantages, I don't know, with comic way. Anyway, so C language was created in Bill Technical Labs by Dennis Ritchie for adapting portability of UNIX operation system. First, UNIX system was written in assembler, but due to changing of the architecture of mainframe, they should rewritten the entire code base each time. Of course, we're lazy, and they decided to create the language that will do it automatically. So C language is a low language. It's widely used for creating compilators for other languages and also writing low-level tools. Python, another direction, I think. This language was created as the simplest language that simple to read and simple to use. It's widely recommended as first languages for beginners for studying programming basics, and also it widely used in science for their research because it's very easy to write code on it. But you may notice it's not so powerful. Java. It's very interesting story because, as I remember, the main slogan was like, write once, run everywhere. Yes, but this language was created for solving one small, or I don't know, maybe not small, but very interesting task. They create languages for run several boxes for interactive television. This language was created by Sun Microsystems, and the all team developed this language. It was led by James Gosling. JavaScript, another very funny language, was created in Escape by one person, and with simple aim. We need some languages that will be running in our browsers to make them interactive with clients. And after that, after internet booming and widely spread the browsers, this language became very popular, and also was ported to mobile, desktop, server side, all this stuff, and I think a lot of program now written on JavaScript. Haskell, another very interesting language, was created by a group of engineers, and they tried to standardize general approach to functional languages. So it's like a mess, and Haskell was a solution for this mess. They create non-strict semantics and strict typed language. Who knew or tried to run Haskell and tried to use it? Okay. How is it going? Nice. Good. PHP, another amazing language. Very popular, by the way. Yeah. Its creator, Rasmus Rudolph, just want to replace Perl as Perl scripts for maintaining his personal homepage. Yeah, so this solution for fixing another language, just be lazy to use Perl. It want to use something more small, simple, and for nowadays a lot of web backends writing on PHP. By the way, the language itself changed a lot, and now it's really a cool language, I think. So it's not so bad. It's now Go. Go language was created not so long. It's a kind of new age language. Was created at Google by the team that take part of creation of UNIX and C language. The aim is the same. So they try to create simplest language for it, simplest language to maintain, and at the same time, against the Python, this language should be very efficient in compilation and execution. Also, it provides with good standard libraries that solve almost all your problems. But again, you should write to code. So as you see, you should make some choice. Pick up some language and become an expert on it. As you remember this effect of Dunning-Kruger, yeah, you should work hard to become an expert. It will take some time. Yes, and do you remember about religion, Max Market, that this talk about religion? No. I try to avoid talk about religion because I don't want to be burned on the fire. And I will replace this analogy with religion to the analogy with the country, because I travel a lot and have experience living in different locations and switching country for a long time. I think it's more similar like switching one language to another. So, what about country? What we know about country? Each country has its own philosophy, call it culture. Yeah, when you came to another country, you should adopt it to this culture. You may use your own behavior, but it may arise some conflict with native inhabitants. All countries have its own community. We call it nation. All nations have its own habits, laws, and taxes, and you should follow them. If you break this law, you will go to jail. It's not very good, I think. And each country efficient in some way. Yes, we all may associate some country with some things like Spanish is a good food, French is a romantic country, I don't know. Japan is just technology country. Which analogy you have in your mind when you call some country? What do you think about India? A lot of people, yeah. Support center, okay. Good program, good developers, yeah. Highly skilled. Okay, so based on this, I showed several pitfalls that you may face it, and we already talked about them. But let's summarize, just summarize. When you switch it from one technology for another, remember that you should change the philosophy of use this language too. You may not show. So different language use different philosophy. When you switch it to a language, you're able to write code. You're able even compile the code. You're able even run this code. But without using the native philosophy of the language, you're unable to achieve its real performance or solve tasks properly. So remember about that, and when you switch it from one technology to another, just double check. Do you use new approach or you use previous approach? Pitfall number one. Number two, second pitfall, number one. Regarding that, each technology has its own philosophy. During the time, it influences on you, and your mindset may change. If you work in a long time with some languages like Python or PHP or JavaScript, for you it's hard to understand another technology, another language, and also use them. So psychologists recommended to change our environment, call it technology, say each time in 5 years, for keeping your brain and mindset in good shape. Just remember about that and try to keep your mindset fresh and not rely on some languages. Last but not least, when you become an expert in some languages, you may lose your position in previous one. It's also normal. You may try to kill two birds in one stone, but it's very hard. So just take this and cooperate with another person who remain on the previous technology and make your work better. The third component of the programming, yes, this is the domain. Its number also increasing, so we start from simple computation, of simple mathematical operation, business logic, next organization stuff. And now we develop our Raspberry Pi, our Internet of Things, a lot of domain now included in our information technology. Each technology goes from this life cycle, hype cycle, I don't know. Who knew about hybrid development? This terminology, hybrid development describes you the peak influence expectation. When new technology arises, a lot of persons think that they may use it. They don't know about it nothing, but they think. They assume that the technology will work for them, and they try to use them. On this peak, it's very risky because you may fail a lot. And a lot of fails, a lot of not very satisfied person after that. Yes, and using of this technology may came down a while information about which area, it's like some way of search which area is suitable for this technology and in which area this technology works well. Be aware about this and remember when you may play with technology and when you may use this technology in production. It's a different period of time. It's very interesting when you try new technology in production and just figure out in a couple of months that this technology not longer supported. Another edge of this question is enterprise pain. They take too long to adopt new technology. Most of the time, they just ignore new technology. And just be aware about that. There's also some bias. What about instruments? So this is some comparison again. This is a joke, I think, because who can compare some image with some languages? It's personal thing from my own. But you see, they all are different. I don't like this picture. I more use it this one. This more describes you that we have a different type of instruments. And all of you, I think, agree with me that this type of instrument will work in different fields for different tasks and different areas. You agree? Yeah? Okay. On the track. The same for programming languages. Even if programming languages is wide use, you should be aware about its philosophy, about its aim, and in which area it's very efficient and in which are not, like JavaScript. Don't use JavaScript everywhere, please. And for choosing proper instrument, I recommend you to ask yourself several questions, helpful questions. For example, what problem are you going to solve? which solution we already have and may use. What experience do you have with this technology, new technology, old technology, existing solution? What about technical requirements? Do you remember about them? And what about deadlines? Are you fitting with these deadlines with choosing one of the technology? So again, remember about Dunning-Kruger effect. Again, your human being bias that you may have, may not. And if you be aware about them, this is a psychology trick. When you name it something, if you track the thing no longer control you. If you do not so, sorry. This is how psychology work. And I think now it's clear for you the difference between these two sentences. The write code on languages and write code with using languages. This is a huge difference. And I you encourage to write code with using languages, not just on languages. That's all. Thank you.